G'day everybody, we're back again for another episode of Two Girls, One Pod. I'm Angie and I'm recording on Gadigal land.
And I'm Yvie Jones and I'm recording on Wurundjeri country.
Oh, we're excited. We're excited about this week. Well, we're always excited, but this one is just right in our wheelhouse. We eat this shit up for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Yum, yum, num, 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 num. We're going to do a little Love Island recap, aren't we, sister?
Can I just say how good that guy is, that Owen?
Oh, he's great. What about the songs?
Songs. We should start writing down the songs because they're so good. You know,
they're
the
so
one like
good.
It was like when she needs to pick her earwax out, and it's just very good.
He's so good. And
He
what about
writes
one of
all
my
of his
favorite
own stuff.
Does he? He's a genius.
Yes.
And what about when the bird flies past and he's like, "Yes, bird, men are trash." Just like little things like that. I'm like, you are so, like, that's my kind of humour.
Yeah.
So we'll do a wee recap and then we'll get into like topics of what we want to discuss. So if you have been watching it depends where you're up to. I sometimes watch it a little bit later on. But Vaku just left last night. And Vaku was not last night.
Vako.
Well, whenever the last episode was. And Vaku was on Matt Agnew's sorry. And Vako was on Love Island's season. Matt's season of Matt Agnew's season of The Bachelor.
Yeah.
There we go. I got that out in the end.
You get there.
Anyway, she was coupled up with Callum, who is the Welsh guy.
He's so funny.
He's actually hilarious. At first I was like, I can't stand you. You're the worst.
No,
But God, he says some funny stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's still a piece of shit. He's going to treat
funny piece
women,
of shit.
But he is entertainment television
Yes.
gold.
Yes.
May I add? So Vako was, partnered up with Callum. She stole him from Layla.
Yeah.
Sad one. She went home. She was only 12.
Layla.
I think she needed to go home.
Yeah,
she
she
12.
did, but she was beautiful.
She was stunning.
You know how bad she looked though in the when they turn the lights off and it goes to that special camera, night camera, and she looked like a skeleton. Like she looked like a skeleton. Something from Halloween because she is such
big, like,
her
cheekbones.
whole facial structure, her bones are very strong. So when poor thing, I feel so sorry for her because I'm like, oh, that's not good on anyone but on you, darling. Oh, my goodness.
That beautiful face. That's the only time her beautiful face would slightly, let her down in any form, which didn't really at all. A big thing that happened on the last episode was Phoebe saying to Claudia that she was starting to get a bit bored of Mitchell, even though the weeks prior she was having the biggest cry about Mitchell kissing the other Phoebe and having, lads time. She's whinging that they're an old married couple and that she's wanting an AFL player to come in because she wants to have a flirt.
Yeah, because she's the one in the beginning when her package was on. She does AFL players. She was very open about that. She's an AFL follower. Like she follows them and gets on with them and everything. And I completely forgot that because, you get to see a completely different side to everyone from their packages. You watch their packages and then you're just like, oh, you're not like that at all. Like, I remember Layla's package. I was like, she was a dancer and she was like, I'm a dancer and no one's going to get in my way. I'm not here to make friends. And then she was the sweetest girl. She was just so sweet. I'm like,
she does.
They're never what they seem in those packages. No. But
those packages are so edited. Be like, say this, do this, and you're like,
and they
so
do.
not
And they do.
any of those things.
Phoebe is a funny one because she actually said to Mitch, I'm going to make you change. You're going to change for me. You're going to do things for me. I'm going to be that one woman that makes all the difference. And, it's like, oh, girl, you've got a lot to learn because that can't happen. That'll never happen. And that's the worst thing that you could possibly say to someone. And then she said the whole thing about she's a bit bored. He actually said to his mates, like, we didn't get intimate last night and all of a sudden she's bored. Out. We're an old married couple. So she's a bit problematic and she's got a lot to learn. But Mitch...
Oh, he's. Ugh. I think the thing is with this is that they're all so young.
Very.
Like some of them are 20 years old, right? We've all done problematic things in our 20s. But the thing is, watching it on like national television and it having such a platform and being reality TV gold, it goes to show how many people that age are so problematic. The way that the girls think it's cute and funny to be psycho. Like, I'm a psycho girlfriend. Like, I am a dead set psycho, and if he doesn't like that, well, I'm hot. He's going to have to deal with it. Girl, your looks are going to fade. Yeah, and then what are you going to have?
All big time. Well, then they're going to spend a whole heap of money trying to recreate those looks again, and they're just going to be broke and really still unhappy because they haven't worked on anything.
Well, that's it.
You know, the one thing about this show is it's looks only. They walk around in literal bathing costumes.
Well, that's it. They're practically nude the whole time. So their whole identity is their body and their face, which I totally get. And you notice
that's what the show is about, obviously.
Yeah, it's about that. And they think, you know, you're going to make lifelong connections. And I'm like, you probably will stay together for a year or something. But it is all about sex and being sexually attracted to each other, even though it is called Love Island. But a few of my favourite problematic moments were funny ones, actually, was when Phoebe had a go at Callum for being like, you know, you don't know how to speak proper English. And he's like, well, that's my second language. Like, I speak, you know. Yeah. And she was like, Welsh, people from Wales speak English. And she was so, like, adamant about it.
Yeah,
and it was
like
just
she's from Wales herself. She's an expert on what they speak in Wales.
And somebody the other day, they came back and they were like, oh, we had some tapas. Oh, what's tapas? I haven't had tapas before.
Every season.
Is that like,
none of them know what tapas is.
How have you not Googled anything about Spain before leaving?
How have you not had tapas? In Australia. It's everywhere.
Also, the siesta. Somebody goes, oh, it was really quiet because they were all having their siesta. Oh, what's a siesta? Dull. It's just when they have a nap.
Every
how do you
day.
Not know these things, like little things like that. And the biggest thing I've also noticed is that both the men and the women always say, I want somebody else to come in and spice things up because I want to see how jealous they get because then I'll know how much they like me.
Yeah.
That is just the biggest no-no. When somebody's getting jealous of you or what you're doing, that doesn't mean they like you more.
No.
It just means that they haven't done the work in order to identify what the feeling of jealousy is and why they're projecting it onto you. It doesn't mean it's like, oh, they really like me because, like, they're so angry when I get attention from other people. You're allowed to get attention from other people. That's weird if your partner got jealous over that.
Yeah, well, the big golden couple, Austin and Claudia, you seem to be really great. And then Claudia all of a sudden started getting the shits because everyone that meets Austin falls in love with him, and Austin is a sweetheart, has never ever done anything wrong as far as relationships go. He's only 12, but he's I think been brought up by quite good parents or parent. I'd say a mother, and he's never cheated, would never think about that. It's just not in him to do that kind of thing. And Claudia's she tried really hard to make him believe that her past trauma was to be brought into this present relationship because she's been hurt in the past. So he needed to somehow understand that and maybe change a little. He, I think, shut her down really well. Don't you agree? Like, he really said, that sounds like he didn't say that, but he basically said that sounds like a you problem and not something that I need to change in order for you to feel more comfortable. I've told you I'm not going to do anything, and if you don't trust me, then there's nothing I can do. There's nothing. Yeah. And he's so mature to have said that so young because you could see she was really not wanting to admit that he was right and not wanting to say sorry. And he actually said to her, she goes, okay, well, I'm really sorry. And he goes, for what? And she goes, you know what I'm sorry for? And he goes, you need to say it.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
To see such a young man be, I mean, that's only what we're seeing based off an edit.
Yeah,
He could
and
be
that's
a real
only
douche,
one
but
of them. A little worry, isn't it? One man in that entire show is a good dude.
out of all of they're just all boys club though. Like, look at them. They're all 12. They all are just like, yeah, we're in Spain. We're around hot girls. That's kind of their goal. But some of the stuff that I'm seeing, which is just so something you can even change in your 20s, you can start identifying things that pop up for you and realize that you don't have to act that particular way, like the jealousy one, and how the men do the complete, like, bare minimum. This was a huge one for me. So when the boys put together their, like, basic bitch little platters, the girls are like, this has never happened to me before. I'm like, girlfriend, you girls are, like, solid. Not that it matters with looks, but this is just, like, a funny little recap in my mind. You girls are, like, solid 8s and 9s, right? You're bloody beautiful. Why are you settling for these bare minimum men and not working on your personality so you have, like, the backup? You're stunning, and then you've got this, like, witty-ass personality. You're smart. You respect yourself. You're going to get men making more than a platter. I reckon I'm, like, a good 6.5. With my personality, maybe a 7, right? Maybe, depending on what day. But I don't rely on this because, I mean, God forbid if I did.
And she's pointing to her face, by the way.
I rely on how much I can make myself happy, my connection with people, my humour, my banter, my wits. That's when, and I'm saying for this, for example, these women are, if you want to go from a looks point of view, are so much more beautiful, younger than me. I've never had men do bare minimum and me be like, oh my God, thank you for this. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, because I give you a lot in return as well. I give you my time, my listening, my energy. It's equal. These girls need to learn now. With bloody looks like that, and if you work on your personality, you'll take on the goddamn world, and you don't have to settle for a shitty sardine platter.
Yeah.
You can get a helicopter if you want. I don't know.
Don't get a helicopter.
Do it.
Very dangerous.
Don't. And also, like, ruins the environment. But I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, these girls, if they knew how much they could, like, get if they did some work and didn't rely on these, like, I don't want to pick on anyone's looks, but some of those guys are deeply average to look at, and these women are literally models, and they're like, I don't know what to do, like, I've never had somebody be so nice to me, and I'm like, oh my God, they literally put cheese. But
that's the world we live in, isn't it? Society, especially in cultures like ours, makes a woman do immense work on themselves physically, and we spend so much money to look. And it's really funny because in nature, you know, the animals in the animal kingdom, you've got the peacock males. Everything is pretty. Do you know how amazing the men have to be, the males in animal kingdom, to get the women? And it's funny because humans, I think, should be like that as well, and we probably naturally are. But because the thing is that women, we can, we're the ones who have to make life go forward. So genetically, really, we need men. The way it should be is men should be trying to get our attention and going, let me put my seed in you. So the survival of the fittest happens, you know, that whole Darwinism kind of stuff. Like, that's what happens in nature, and it would probably happen if we weren't societal, like we hadn't overthought things, and somehow it's all flipped. We have these really average men who can do and say anything they want and
be so stupid.
These amazing
boys,
women.
Some of them are so dumb.
Yeah. Oh, and some of the girls are so dumb as well. I do worry about the future of this world. I mean, obviously, Love Island isn't a great example of, you know, the youth of the world. But I do worry that, you know, when you've got looks, especially as a woman, you don't have to work on any other aspect of yourself, especially your brain. Like, your brain is really important. Read books.
It's the best. You can take over the world. Women need to know how powerful they are. Number one, power of the pussy. Number two, when you use your brain, you can create absolute magic. And being beautiful is just a bonus.
Yeah.
Like, use all these other things, explore, and you could literally, if wanting to get a bare minimum daddy as your goal in life, you could get any bare minimum daddy you want if you start using that mind of yours.
Yeah, and if we stop the fuck boys as well.
Oh, I know. Let them all each other. They all want to. They all want to.
Yeah,
For the love of bloody Kylie, they all want to. And can we just touch one more? I mean, I can't think of his name right now, but as soon as I say it, you'll know. Not all heroes wear capes.
I think it was Ben.
I'll be a ghost.
Ben. Oh my God,
sitting next to you. He was so serious. I wrote to Alex Mav, who is the EP of the show, and I was like, television gold, Alex Mav. You've done it again. You can't write this shit. You've done it again.
It's so good. He bawled his eyes out. It went into high-pitched crying voice. And everyone, I think Alex Mav was quite kind to not edit that better.
Apparently, he said it was a much more hardcore than what it was.
Because he didn't show anyone else crying. But there were times when girls were touching their face and you were like, they're not crying. So that was a very kind edit that he got because it could have been.
Alex does that because we could refer to someone else right now and he gave him a really good edit.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't like to make so much fun of his people. Alex Mavrodakis is the EP on that show. He's also the EP on Celebrity. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Yeah. And he is really big on not getting people to the point where they're going to be trolled mercilessly.
That's beautiful.
He makes sure that doesn't happen. Even though, Love Island is a show for the youth, whereas I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is a family-run show. So you know why he's doing it on that show. He doesn't want people to – he doesn't want the drama. He doesn't show it. He just doesn't show it. But even on Love Island, we know firsthand that there was so much stuff in that first season that didn't get shown simply because he's not that kind of producer. He doesn't want people to be seen as the fools that they really are, which is really you wouldn't get that on MAFS.
That's unheard of. He's actually a great guy for doing that and leaving out how hardcore that speech actually was. He edited it well enough where you could still be like blessed and not completely shred him, because I actually had somebody get a little bit cross at me saying when I wrote on So Dramatics one of their pictures that was television gold and I added Alex and I was like, you did it again. Lady was like, this man, Ben, is actually a really beautiful man. He was really torn up by leaving. You're being a bully. And I was like, no, I'm not picking on him personally. I'm just saying that moment was television gold. And the way he looked so sad about leaving just to show was just like, after a day. Was just like, it was great television. I'm not saying
that he's a bad guy in any way, but the guy had been there for 24 hours and acted like he was one of the original people to walk in, and that he'd made these huge connections and he'd fallen in love with someone and had all this amazing time, and he's going to still be there as a ghost for everyone to get them through the rest of their time in the villa. Brilliant. Like, say it for what it is. He did not need to react that way. And it was so good because you were like, great. Where did that come from?
And why? But you know what? Another funny thing he did was when he was making Stella, he made her breakfast. He didn't ask her if she drinks coffee. No. Didn't ask her what she was intolerant to. This is the sort of the bare minimum stuff. Yep. They're like, he made me breakfast, but I'm lactose intolerant and I also don't drink coffee. Ask that question.
Yep.
Ask if you're lactose intolerant. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not hard, boys. Do the goddamn work, Ben. No, bless him. He was great TV, and people need to know with these shows, and we can say this because we've been on them, you've got to kind of remove it's not your whole life. In the moment it is, but you were there for television entertainment.
That's right.
If I could go back and tell little 28-year-old Angie that, like when we're on Gogglebox, I knew we were just there for entertainment. The Jungle, but you're there for so long. Bachelor, I wish I could go back to her and be like, girl, this is just a show. Just have all the fun. And not take it seriously because you were just here for people's lols. Yeah. And Ben did a great job of that. So thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Ben. wherever you are
And thank you,
today.
Alex, for creating such a good season. Love
best
Island
season.
is back.
It's the best
Full
season.
throttle.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did it again.
Just quickly before we finish, I just
sure.
want to say, especially on Love Island, they refer to their contestants as girls and boys. And, I've always had a real problem with calling adults children. And a lot of people don't understand why I have this problem. But it is something that I think about all the time. And every time I watch shows, like even your mum, your dad, your mum, that show.
Your mum's your dad.
There was men in their 50s calling the woman when they were doing a Voxies a girl. I like that girl.
Yeah.
When she walked in the door, blah, blah, blah. And I always, while I'm watching Love Island, while I'm watching anything, anytime someone calls a man or a woman, a boy or a girl, I always under my breath go, woman, man.
Yeah.
Just say it properly. I was talking to a friend about it, and he was saying that when he used to work at Hoyt's or Village, one of the big cinemas, as a teenager, he was told, there was a directive that you must call women girls. It makes them feel better. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so interesting. And how it's a thing in certain industries, but I think it's a patriarchal thing. I think there's a lot deeper in this. I spoke to Clementine Ford about it, as you do, Angela Bernice. And I just said to her, what do you think about that? And she said, it's worth asking why people feel so weird about calling women women. Like men will call them females rather than call them women, which is a whole other thing. Don't ever call a woman female. Don't ever call a man male unless you're talking about species, because, we're human females, but we're women and men. That's a whole other kettle of fish. We can talk about that at another time. Boys, lads, blokes and guys, none of those terms strip a man from their authority. Their assumed authority, I should say. But woman and women seems to put them off as a term. And she said, I suspect it's because girls inherently have no authority and women is a concept that they don't understand. And I thought, made me think, like, calling a woman a girl, it really strips us of authority and power, doesn't it? It immediately, if someone says, this girl, or you're a girl, or I just think you're a beautiful girl, it immediately makes you feel like a child. And if you call a man a boy, like, oh, you're such a boy when you do that, it immediately makes them feel like a child. But there's completely different rules for us as children and them as children, because boys can be boys and boys will be boys, and it's a whole term that we use,
for girls have to
and
be
allow
quiet
men
and
to get
pretty,
exactly, and girls have to be
obey,
pretty and quiet.
Keep sweet,
Exactly,
pray, obey.
exactly.
That's true. It's like, when you're a girl, it kind of identifies with staying young, youthful, and men like young women. They like girls. They like you to be beautiful and pretty and little. Oh, she's my girl.
Exactly. And when you're having a conversation with someone and they infantilize you in that way, you immediately are stripped of your power and you can't help but go into your girlish mode.
Instantly.
And they're doing it. They don't even know they're doing it, but they do it on purpose. It's a patriarchal tool, I think, that strips us from our power all of a sudden, and we don't be loud, because you know what? There's one thing that the world hates, Angie. It's a f***ing loud, hysterical woman.
A loud woman.
You don't want to be a woman. Yeah. So be a girl, be sweet, pray and obey, stay really lovely. It's weird to me. Don't you think that there's a lot more of it that we've ever given it thought for?
Yeah, definitely. And when you take it out of what we would think it is, which is just like, oh, get over it, you're a girl, boy. But when you strip it from that and you really do, you can see yourself play different versions of yourself depending on what you're called. So if I was a girl, I would instantly go, oh, hello. Whereas if it's like, oh, this woman, I'd be like, hello, I'm Angie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's
an age thing as well. You would never call a grey-haired man a boy, right? But you would call a grey-haired woman a girl still.
Oh, I don't know if I would. But I call everyone girl. So when I say
not that
girl,
way. Not that
don't
way.
ever think, mine's just like an endear, like, hey, girl. Yeah, like instead of babe, I don't do babe, I do girl.
Yeah, yeah.
But if people don't like it, you can tell me. But mine's a term of endearment, and men could come back and say, that's the saying, but the thing
No,
is it's
it's
not.
not.
It's different
It's a
because
term
I
of
don't think
endearment,
I'm
yeah.
higher up than my gals.
No, exactly.
My girls.
No, it's definitely something that we have to just think about.
Just think about next time
if you're over the age of 18, you are a woman. And if they are over the age of 18, they are men. So let's just start calling them that, even if they're guys, blokes, lads, whatever, women.
See how it sits for you.
Ladies.
Actually.
We're ladies,
See how it
ladies and
feels.
gentlemen. It makes me feel really uncomfortable when I hear them on Love Island say, I choose this girl because, or choose this boy because it's like, oh, yuck. They're not boys or girls. They're men and women.
Yeah, it does keep you kind of, like you're still just, you can do what you want. The boys and the girls have to look pretty.
Yep. So let's
do as
stop
you're
doing
told.
it. Let's call us men and let's call us women.
Yeah, I hear that, sister. I freaking hear that. All right, the end. That was good. I liked that one. I'm all fiery and sweaty. That could be my ice matcha and my sweaty walk I just did. But it feels good to be alive. All right, good talk, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have the day you deserve. Rate and review all the things. You know our Instagrams by now. And if you don't, well, where have you been all our lives? We love you. And thank you for listening.
You do.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.